Alright, we're back for another video. My friends, I've been really into Overwatch lately. I'm not gonna lie. I've been kind of addicted. Call me crazy. Call me whatever you want. I might be a degenerate, dude. Whenever I have any free time, I'm on Overwatch. I'm playing competitive. I'm trying to get better at playing tank, bro. I cannot stop playing this game. I feel like I'm improving. I'm climbing up the ladder. Needless to say, this game makes me extremely angry sometimes, but it also makes me very happy. It is the only semblance of happiness that I have in my life nowadays, especially with all the stress of having a full-time job. Anyways, let's get right into this. I decided that I'm just gonna hop on over here and I am going to make a tier list based off of how difficult a hero is to play. So if a hero is extremely difficult to play, they're gonna be in S tier. If a hero is very easy to play, they're gonna be in brain dead. Now, just a heads up here to give you guys a little bit more information on how experienced I am with Overwatch. I am currently Diamond 3 on tank and about Diamond 4 on support, but only recently have I been putting in so many hours into the game. So hopefully soon I can reach a level like Masters. I do believe I can. The reason why I'm saying this is just to give you guys an idea of where I'm coming from and where this ranking will be coming from. This is purely my opinion on what I've seen so far. I'm not a GM player. I'm not a Masters player. I'm not a champ player. I'm not a professional player. This is just purely my opinion on what I have seen playing this game on and off since 2016, but putting a lot of hours into it in the past like few months or so. Starting it off with the tanks, we have D.Va. D.Va, I'm gonna put in B tier. This is where we build the structure for the tier list per se. I don't think D.Va's that hard to play. I think she is a tank that anyone can pick up if you're new to Overwatch, whatever rank you may be. I think D.Va fits a lot of different playstyles. She can work with dive and she can work with brawl. She might not be the best poke tank, of course, because she has to be up close and personal. She works very well against hit scan DPS characters like Ashe, Soldier, Sojourn, and supports like Baptiste and stuff like that. You can really just overpower them with your Matrix. Now, the difficulty of this character really comes from knowing when to dive and when to be on the front line, like brawling a fucking Reinhardt, which you shouldn't be doing a lot of the time as D.Va. But I play unranked a lot of the time. I off-roll on DPS, which is like plat 4 nowadays. And I see a lot of D.Vas do a lot of weird things with their Matrix. For instance, a Matrix isn't gonna stop Reinhardt's 10-ton fucking hammer from dropping your ass out of the mech into your baby form and then getting shattered straight up on your head. So knowing how to use your Matrix not only to protect yourself, but also to protect your teammates and to protect yourself while you're diving a hit scan character is very good to know. Also, knowing how to use your Matrix and your rockets at the same time efficiently, it's a whole thing. But I don't think she's that difficult to understand. I think if you put a week's worth of time into D.Va, you'll get a pretty good understanding on how to play her, which is why she's gonna be B tier. Moving on, we have Doomfist. Man, oh man, oh man, where do we put Doomfist? He's gotta be S tier. He's got to be S tier. I wish I was a good Doomfist player, man. I've seen some Doomfist players absolutely dominate, and I mean dominate lobbies with just how skillful they are. Holy shit. Problem with Doom is that he's just not the guy. He's not that guy. He's not a good tank. He's a good DPS, dude. And I find that Doomfist players struggle to climb a lot, even though mechanically they are so fucking gifted. Bro, sometimes I'm like in plat lobbies when I'm playing DPS and I see Doomfist players and I'm like, why are you in my fucking lobby? Just flying all over the place, fucking slingshotting, punching Pharahs out the fucking sky. It's fucking crazy, dude. It's actually crazy how good some Doomfist players are. With that being said, they're a little toxic, but that's not what we're talking about today. Difficulty, he's very difficult to understand because to do what a D.Va can do as Doomfist, you have to be exceptionally more mechanically gifted to reach the same point D.Va can by just clicking 2 buttons. For instance, if D.Va wants to dive a soldier, all she has to do is click shift and right click and she's in there like swimwear. She can take out the soldier soldier, make his life absolutely miserable. Doomfist, on the other hand, has to click shift, fly in the air, click E, try to block some shots, then hit a fucking punch, and then after he hits the punch, he has to pray that he made the punch in a way where the soldier's gonna hit the wall, get stunned, and then he has to fire off a couple left clicks, make sure he hits all of those shots because they're not easy to hit, and if you miss them, they take like 10 years to reload, and the soldier's gone by that time. So that's why I feel for Doom players. With that being said, just stop flaming your supports, bro. Stop flaming your supports, okay? They can't help you when you're like 10 toes deep into their fucking backline, all right? That's all I'm gonna say for that. Next up, we got Hazard. Hazard is very similar to Doomfist's playstyle. I haven't played a lot of Hazard, admittedly. He is a pretty difficult hero to learn. He can climb up walls, you gotta know when to dive, you gotta know the one-hit combo. He's a pretty interesting character. You also need to learn how to block efficiently because your block actually does damage, which is better than Doomfist, of course, because Doomfist sucks ass. I think A is a very fair place to put Hazard at. I think his block is pretty easy to use. His fucking shift where he jumps at someone is pretty easy to use. His ult is pretty easy to use. I would say that combining everything together with the walling ability is what makes him pretty difficult. I think A is a very fair spot for Hazard. I think that his abilities are not that hard to do, but perfecting them is pretty difficult to do. Like perfecting when to use your walls to trap enemies in like a room or something so you can beat the fuck out of them. And then you have your one-hit combos, you have your wall climbing ability. Hazard just has a lot of tech. And I think that if you master all that tech, you can be pretty nasty. I've played against some pretty nasty Hazards who just wreak havoc both on the front line and the back line of your team. He's like everywhere all the time. Next up, we got Junker Queen. Junker Queen, I'm gonna put her at B tier. She's not that hard to use, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. If you have pretty decent mechanical skills, if you can aim, if you can throw your knife, if you know that after throwing your knife, you have to axe somebody in the face to regain some HP, I don't think it's that hard to do. I think JQ is somewhere in between. I think B tier is very good for her. The only thing about Queen that even I struggle with sometimes is when to use her shout. A lot of people keep spamming the shout without realizing that shout gives you like 200 extra HP, a speed boost, and you can fucking use it while you're axing someone, which is absolutely insane, by the way. Also, for God's sakes, stop using your ult when Kiriko has Suzu, okay? I've seen this happen so many times where players do not understand that Kiriko can single-handedly shut down your goddamn ult. Like, no one cares about JQ ult if Kiriko can just throw down an E and cancel everything you've worked so hard for. Next up, we got Mauga. Oh my god, this guy right here, bro. C tier, no depth. I'm just gonna put it out there, dude. This character has absolutely zero depth. The only thing that can be slightly difficult is knowing when to use your E, which is the life stealing ability, and knowing how to steer yourself when you're running at someone using your shift. Those are the two things that this guy has. His cage, no one is ever gonna mess up a cage. All you do is click Q, people around you are trapped with you in a single room. That's all you need to know about Mauga, bro. This character has absolutely no depth. I don't know why they released a character like this in Overwatch 2, where I'm not gonna lie, most of the character releases have been pretty techy, dude. A lot of these, I mean, JQ has some tech. Hazard has a lot of tech. We're gonna get to Ramatra and Juno and whoever else who are all pretty techy. Like, all of these characters have a pretty high mastery ceiling, but then you look at Mauga, who just came out with like 2 buttons and no one really cares. Like, no one likes a Mauga, okay? He's pretty fun to play when he's not OP. I will put that out there. Sometimes I like hopping on Mauga, getting the perk that makes everyone burn around you when you run at them. That's pretty fun. But other than that, he's not that techy. Like, you can't really put weeks and weeks of time into this character and figure out new tech with this character, okay? Which is, I don't really like that. I just don't like that. And that's why I'm gonna put him in C tier. He's not fully brain dead. Is he fully brain dead, actually? No, his E is pretty difficult to use. His E, a lot of people mess up the E. I'm not gonna put him in brain dead. Not yet. Next up, we got Orisa. Just gonna put her in Orisa. If you want to watch a video of me talking about Orisa, I'm gonna put a link to it in the description. The reason why I'm not gonna go over Orisa so much is because I absolutely despise her. I think you are not only brain brain dead if you cannot play Orisa. You just need to quit the game because she is the easiest character in all of Overwatch. All you have to do is know when to click your shift, and that's it. That's it. You are immortal. You do so much damage. You cannot die unless the whole enemy team counter swaps you. And if they do, and you start dying and losing the game, that is when you can blame your teammates. That is why I will never blame an Orisa for flaming her teammates, because the only way an Orisa can lose a game is if your teammates throw. And I will stand by that to the day I die. Orisa is unkillable, brain dead, and should be removed from the game. Next up, we got Ramatra. Ramatra, I'm going to put him at B tier. He has some tech. He does. What do I mean by tech? His vortex, if you understand when to use your vortex, it can be very, very, very interesting. For instance, a character is far away from you, you vortex them, you go into your staff form and you start headshotting them with your staff because they're slowed. That's an easy kill every single time. Another thing is knowing when to block with Ramatra, when to sustain, because when you go into his nemesis form and you start blocking, you are basically unkillable. But also, when you're blocking, you can throw a little bit of jabs out there, okay, and do some decent damage with him. Another thing you can do is use his ult after you're done with nemesis form. What do I mean by that? Once you go into your Hulk Nemesis fucking forearms form and you start punching people and blocking, and that form runs out, you're basically a squishy character. So what a lot of people do is that they use that, sustain a little bit, do some good damage, and then they click Q, go back into Nemesis form, and now you're just unkillable in Nemesis form. If you're blocking, you're sucking people's health out, you're fucking doing a shit ton of damage. Everyone around you just has this purple particles on their screen. They can't see shit because you're right in front of them. Everyone's running away from you. You feel like the fucking Terminator. So that's why I'm going to put him at B tier. With that being said, he's not the most techie character. He's not as techie as Hazard or as Doomfist. Next up, we got Reinhardt. Should I do it? Should I put him next to Mauga? No, I'm going to put him at B. I'm going to put Reinhardt at B. He's not as brain dead as Mauga. He's not. The thing about Reinhardt is you need to give in to the fact that you are not him. You are not that guy. As a Reinhardt playing 5v5 in Overwatch 2 with a Zen, Bastion, Ramatra on the enemy team or an Orisa, you need to give in to the fact that you are there just to be a fucking squishy. You are there as a fuck doll for the enemy team, and you are just getting absolutely butt fucked for minutes on end, and you just have to pray that your teammates take advantage of that time and they win you the game. That's all you can do as Reinhardt sometimes, and you just have to give in to that. Unless you're playing on maps like King's Row or some control maps where there's a lot of corners, you just need to give in to that. It's hard, I understand. It's very difficult to come to terms with that as a Reinhardt main. I genuinely feel for everyone who plays Reinhardt. I hope 6v6 is making you guys feel better. But damn, man, corners are your best friend. You just gotta play for that shatter. That's the only thing. He doesn't have a lot of tech. The reason why he's in B tier is because his pin is kind of interesting. You can clear a lot of high ground with your pin. Knowing when to use your shield, when to drop your shield is a little techy. And fire strikes, knowing how to use fire strikes, because fire strikes are basically only used to build up shatter. They don't do that much damage, okay? They're your only long-range weapon that you have in your whole arsenal. So all you gotta do is just build up that ult charge and then shatter. Shatter can be a little techie. You know, you can do a little flanks, a lot of like pin fucking shatter. Something that I have started to do with Reinhardt that's a little techie is that I take his shield bash perk. It's his major perk. So I like peek a corner with the shield bash, fucking fire strike and run back. They don't expect it a lot of the time, so that's easy ult charge sometimes. That's the only tech that he has, sadly. His pins are very cool, which is why I'm not going to put him at C tier. He does not deserve to be next to Mauga. All my Reinhardt players out there, I love you. Next up, we got Hog. B tier. B tier. He does have some tech. He's kind of hard. I'm not going to lie. Knowing how to use your hook, like seeing a player's momentum going left, right, whatever, and then pre-firing your hook in that direction can be a little techie. I do like that. His pig pen or his little trap is not techie at all. I don't give a fuck about that useless ass ability. Slingshotting with Roadhog is why I'm putting him in B tier. I've seen a lot of players do this slingshot thing where they hook you in, they jump, and then they ult at the same time, and you just fly off the fucking face of the planet. You go to fucking Narnia, and that's kind of techie, bro. A lot of hogs are kind of techie. Now, I will say this. Hog players have been there since 2016. They have been one-tricking Hog for years now. Even if Hog is not good, even if he is just a damage sponge, people just love playing Hog. And you know what? I can't be against that, bro. I can't be against that. I do not hate Hog players as much as I do Mauga players or Orisa players. I can't blame you. Next up, we got Sigma B tier. Sigma's just average, bro. He really is. If you know when to use his shift to swallow out some damage, you know how to use his rock to bring down an enemy. Only tech he has is probably his rock and then the fucking boom, boom, and then punch. You know what I'm saying? The left click punch when they're on the ground. That's about it, bro. That's all the tech this guy really has. His ult can be a little techy, you know, if you do it around corners and stuff to avoid hooks, spears, sleeps, or whatever else. His shield is the most techy part of his arsenal. The reason why I am a big fan of Sigma recently and why he is my most played tank this season is that they have given him some buffs to his shield. His shield is now on a 1 second cooldown, which is pretty insane. Like, I don't know how other people are not seeing what I'm seeing. This guy's crazy. Like, you put out his shield, you bring it back, and then you can bring it out again immediately. That's kind of crazy, bro. You do not understand how many teammates I've saved with that shield, how many times I saved myself with that shield. It's kind of crazy how fast the cooldown on his shield is now. And it's pretty good, dude. You can do some tech with it. You can. Next up, we got Winston. I'm putting him in A tier. Winston can be pretty techy. He can. Thing is, this tier list is about how hard they are to play. Okay, and I think Winston is a very difficult character to play. I do believe that because you need to know how to dive, bro. And I've been trying to learn this character for so long. I feel like I've gotten pretty good at him. I feel like in Diamond, I can consistently play Winston without feeling like I am bringing my team down in any way, shape, or form. Knowing that you should be poking all the time with your right click to build up that ult. Knowing how to use Primal and how to juggle characters is something that I'm still trying to learn, but I'm getting pretty decent at it. And knowing how to avoid tanks like Hog, Mauga, sometimes Ramatra, and even D.Va sometimes if she has her rockets. Like knowing when to avoid that and when to dive the enemy team and when to frontline with your own team is a very key characteristic to being good at Winston. I would also say that Winston is one of the most fun tanks to play. He is probably the most enjoyable tank to play for me personally, which is why I'm gonna keep him at A. I think you can do a lot of cool stuff with him. I've seen some people absolutely bully lobbies with Winston. I can only hope to reach that point one day. Next up, we got Ball, S tier. Not even a question, bro. Ball players, dude, I hate playing against you. I hate the fact that my backline chases you all the time for minutes on end and just throws my goddamn game sometimes. I hate that, but I can't be mad because Ball has so much going against him, bro. He has Sombra, he has Orisa, he has fucking Hog, he has Ana, he has Kiriko that can just TP away from him. He has so much going against him, dude. And even with all of that, they still manage to find a way to be annoying little bastard rats to your backline and just win games. I have seen some crazy Ball players in my games. I've played against some crazy Ball players. I've seen videos of Ball players just doing the most insane tech. I would say Ball could even be more techie than Doomfist. He could be the most techie character in the game. That's how far I will go with Ball. I genuinely believe he has some of the highest skill ceiling in the whole entire game of Overwatch. Next up, we got Zarya, Braindead. I despise Zarya. I do not like this character. I don't think she should be removed from the game. I don't think it's that bad. It's just my preference. I hate her. I hate that there exists a character where if my teammates shoot her bubble and she gets 100% charge, she can kill me as Reinhardt in 2 seconds. And that's not my fault because I'm not the one who shot at the goddamn fucking bubble, bro. I'm not the one who did that. That was my Bastion or my Torbjorn who has a fucking turret just spamming Zarya bubbles all the time, getting her up to 100% charge, and then I'm over here playing Hog or something, just getting absolutely melted, and then my fucking Torb types in chat tank diff. Like, are you fucking crazy right now? I hate Zarya. She can just walk down your entire team for minutes on end if your team shoots the goddamn bubble. Now, I know I've been screaming at why I hate Zarya, but this tier list is about how difficult they are to play. Is Zarya difficult to play? No. You click shift when other people are shooting at you. You click E when people are shooting at your teammates. That is about it. That is the extent of Zarya players. Unless you are gaming for Hope, who spent 2 years trying to master Zarya and peak Diamond 4 just the last week, I don't think this character is hard to master. I think you put in a week's worth of time into Zarya and you're there. You peaked. Next up, we got Ashe. How difficult is she to play? Now, if we're taking mechanical skill into account here, she would go up to A. If we're not taking mechanical skill and aiming into this equation and we're just looking at how hard the character is to master, then she would be around C or B. So I'm going to put her at B. I think that Ashe's abilities are very easy to master. Dynamite is very easy to master. If you know how to shoot it, you just throw it. You don't change where you're aiming and then you shoot, boom, blows up. That's fine. Her shift knocks away enemies, brings you up to high ground. You use that as an escape tool or as an engage tool. That's fine. But other than that, it's just pure mechanics from there. And if you're mechanically gifted, I feel like Ashe is for you and you can actually excel at her. With that being said, can we count that as the hero having a high skill ceiling? Or is it the player taking the hero to the next level with their godlike aim? I'm not sure, which is why I'm going to leave her at B. All right, next up, we got Bastion. Bastion, oh Bastion, going right next to Malga, dude. This guy, no tech. No tech. Only tech you can do is maybe with his little bomb, his little right click. Sometimes you can launch yourself into the fight in your turret form and you can catch someone off guard. That's about the extent of it, I would say. His ult is not techy at all. He just doesn't have a lot to him, okay? He's just a character that anyone can hop on and play and get good at. He only takes maybe an hour to get used to. I would say Bastion can take you an hour to 2 hours max to master. Everything other than that is just how good your aim is to excel at the character. That's about it. Cassidy is the same. I would say Cassidy is also very close to brain dead, okay? If you have good aim, if you come from a FPS game, he is not that difficult to play. He's just not. His nade can be a little techy, but most of the time you're just gonna drop it on the ground if a Genji dives you or if a Tracer is on you or a Sombra, and it's just gonna hit them because the AoE on that thing is absolutely insane. It's like a fucking infinite Tsukuyomi type of thing. It hits everything around it. I feel like I should make another tier for aim-dependent heroes because Cassidy can absolutely carry a lobby if you have good aim, right? So if you have fantastic aim, he's just going to be the best character of all time. If you have shit aim, he's going to be brain dead. But I don't know. This isn't a tier list about how good a hero is. It's just a tier list about how difficult the hero is to play. I think Cassidy is one of the easiest ones. Next up, we got Echo. Echo, I'm gonna put her at the top of B tier. I don't think she's quite in the A tier. I think that if you know how to use her right click, her little bombs, it can be pretty good if you know when to use your E because it's percentage based, right? So if a character is very low on HP, it does a lot more damage. So that can be considered tech. She's also a flyer. So if you know how to use flying characters like Pharah, she can be a little techy. But other than that, her copy, I mean, it's very easy to use. You just click Q on the character you want to copy and that's about it. I don't really see that much of a high skill ceiling to Echo. She could go in A tier. I'm not gonna lie, she maybe could. I've seen some nasty ass Echoes online. Never in my games. I've never really played against a nasty Echo. And I'm like Diamond 3 right now. So I don't know. I'm gonna keep her at B for now. I'm gonna keep her at B. I don't think she can go in A, dude. I feel like Winston, if you get really good at Winston, he can be insane. Hazard as well. Like, these characters are just on a whole other level if you master them. That being said, now we have Genji S tier. Yep. A little bit of a hot take. I feel like people really hate Genji players. They just call them dog shit all the time. But I genuinely believe Genji has some of the highest skill ceiling in the whole game. Genji isn't a character where if you have good aim, you're just good at Genji. He's not like Ashe or Cassidy or whatever. If you want to be good at Genji, you have to put in the hours. I put in a decent amount of hours into Genji when I off-roll as DPS, and I'm still ass at the goddamn character. His blade is absolutely insane if you know how to use it, who to target with it. His deflect is absolutely crazy. Only thing with his deflect that I haven't even gotten used to yet is that when you're deflecting, you have to aim at other characters, at the enemy team, because when people shoot at you, you want the bullets to be deflected to the enemies that you're targeting. And that's just something that I haven't gotten used to. Dude, Genji can wall climb, he can double jump, he can dash. That is a recipe for a character who has a high skill ceiling, which is why I'm going to put him at S tier. I feel like the character has been in the game for so many years. I mean, almost 10 years now, to the point where people just disregard how difficult this character is to play. And coming from someone who has dabbled in Overwatch, but has only taken it pretty seriously for the past couple years, I can see Genji players and be impressed. I feel like the Overwatch community has just gotten used to it, right? But when I see a good Genji, I know that's a good Genji. Hanzo, again, B. I would say B tier next to the Echo. I mean, if you hit your shots, you have one-shot capability, right? So any character who can one-shot is immediately a recipe for carrying a whole lobby. But Hanzo, I mean, that's all he has. Storm arrows are not that hard to use. The recon arrow isn't hard to use. The dragon isn't hard to use. Wall climbing is pretty easy to use on this character. He's not like Genji where he has an infinite double jump that you can use every single time. It doesn't have a cooldown. Hanzo's double dash thing does have a cooldown. I just think this character is dead, bro. I really do. Like, he's just not interesting anymore. And I just don't see anyone putting in that many hours into a Hanzo. Like, I haven't seen a Hanzo where I was like, wow. I've seen Genjis, Doomfists, and Wrecking Balls just absolutely go crazy, and I'm actually impressed. Whereas Hanzo, I'm rarely ever impressed. Unless you hit like a crazy shot every now and again, I'm not that impressed. Junkrat. Junkrat's gonna go in the A tier for me, bro. I think he's A tier. I've seen some crazy ass Junkrats, bro. The thing about Junkrat is that he can kill you with a very fast combo. Like the bomb C4 thing. Like, I have seen some Junkrats who have mastered the ability to kill characters while they are airborne, and that's just absolutely crazy to me, because whenever I use Junkrat, I can barely hit a shot. These people can kill Pharahs. They fucking drop a C4 on themselves, fly in the air, hit the Pharah with a bomb and then a C4 and just rye her like that. Junkrat players, I am impressed by you. Good shit. I might even put him S tier. I'm not gonna lie. Should I put him S tier? I'm not gonna put him S tier. I'm not gonna put him S tier just yet, but I do think he is a very high skill ceiling character, and I do think if you are very good at him, I am extremely impressed. You do need to put a lot of hours into Junkrat to master him, which I appreciate these kinds of characters, you know, which is why I'm really enjoying Winston nowadays. I really want to master this character. Next up, we got Mei. Mei, she's not that hard, bro. She really isn't. I'm sorry. Like, her gun is very easy to use. It's a massive ass projectile. If you're not hitting headshots with her, then I don't know what the fuck you're doing. Her shift is just a massive sustainability where you can just hit it whenever you're about to die, and that's it. You heal, you come out of it, and you're good to go. Her wall is very easy to use. All you have to do is just trap the enemy tank, isolate them from their supports. That's about it. That's all this character has. Her Q, her ultimate is very easy to use. Just drop it in an area, everything around you freezes. You can just start spamming them in the head and just kill them, right? So that's about it for Mei. I have seen some pretty cool tricks with her wall, but I mean, it's not that crazy. It's not as impressive as like a Junkrat fucking one-shotting a Pharah mid-air, right? So I'm just gonna leave Mei at C. I think that's fair. Next up, we got Pharah, B tier. Not really much to say here. She can fly, she can hit rockets. She does have a decent amount of tech if you know how to hold like corners and stuff like that, hide behind cover. If you know how to manage your fuel. Her ult is a little bit techy as well, especially with the new perk where you can move with the ult. You can ult like around the corner where they just do not see you coming. I have seen some Pharahs where I've been pretty impressed by. Her little bomb thing that shoves you into a certain direction or just knocks enemies off the map can be very techy, which is why I'm going to leave her at B tier. I think that's pretty fair. Next up, we got Reaper, C tier. C tier for Reaper. I'm sorry. I love Reaper. He has the coolest skins in the game. He's had that title since like 2016. Bro, this guy just has the coolest skins ever. One of the coolest characters in the game. When it comes to tech though, when it comes to difficulty to play him, he's not that difficult. You teleport behind enemies, hit a couple shots. If you kill someone, you kill someone. If not, you shift back into your team, get healed, repeat, rinse, repeat. If you don't want to dive people, if you don't want to dive their backline, you just play next to your tank, fry other tanks. That's about it for Reaper. His ult isn't that techy. You click Q, everything around you dies. That's about it. You just have to know when to use it. I haven't really seen Reaper players where I've been like, wow, that was crazy. If you know how to aim, that's pretty good. I think that aiming with Reaper is something that can make him carry a whole ass lobby. If you don't miss a shot on a squishy, that's kind of crazy. But other than that, I just don't see much more to him, you know? I feel like people just know what this character is about. There's nothing new coming out of Reaper. Whereas Junkrat, I mean, it's been 10 years now and still people are finding new shit with him. Genji, I'm still getting impressed by this guy and I've known about him for like 10 years, right? Same with Ball and Doomfist. Next up, we got Sojourn, C tier. Not quite brain dead. If you have good aim, you're going to be good with Sojourn. That's about it. I feel like all of the Call of Duty players, all of the Fortnite players, every single person who has come from another FPS game to Overwatch is going to pick up Sojourn. They're going to pick up Ashe and Cassidy and just do well. That's about it. These characters, you don't need to put in so many hours into them to figure them out. I would say Sojourn does have much more depth than Cassidy, but that's about it. That's really about it. And you know what? On that note, I'm gonna drop Ashe down. I feel like it's not fair because I do believe that Sojourn has more depth to her than Ashe and Cassidy. So I'm gonna put it like this. I think Sojourn is the least brain dead out of these three. I just believe if you're mechanically gifted, you're gonna do well on all these three characters. You can hit GM knowing nothing about the game, right? And some would say that's why 5v5 sucks, because a single player just has so much impact on the game, whereas 6v6, that might not be the case, where a Call of Duty player can come into the game and hit masters, right? With that being said, C tier, fair. Next up, Soldier, also C tier. As you can see, there is a little bit of a pattern here where hit scan characters are just C tier, right? Again, I am not taking into account how good your aim is, because again, if you have good aim, these characters can carry a game. They can be considered difficult if you don't have good aim, but I'm just assuming everyone has decent aim, right? And these characters are just not that hard to master. Like Soldier, what does he have? He has his rockets, he has his healing ability, and he can run. That's about it. No depth, no tech. Next up, we got Sombra. I'm going to put her at B tier. I do believe Sombra has some tech. I know a lot of people hate this. They will probably despise me for even giving this character any shred of a compliment, but I do think Sombra has some tech. I do believe so. Knowing when to approach the enemy backline, knowing how to engage, how to use your TP, when to use your virus, when to use your EMP. She has a lot of buttons, right? And that just gives players the ability to be techie with her. She can hack health packs. She can do a lot of cool shit. She can be invisible. Character's techie, bro. I'm not gonna lie. You can whisper voice lines in the enemy's backline, just fucking be creepy and shit. I mean, I don't like the character. I don't hate her to the point that I ban her. I don't think she's that annoying anymore, especially when you have decent backlines and DPS as you climb higher in the ranks, where they just don't fall to Sombra every single time. I think B tier is fair for her. I think you can be pretty techie with her. Next up, we got Symmetra. I'm actually gonna put Symmetra in B tier because the thing with Symmetra is I've tried to play her. And I do not think I know how to play this character yet. And I haven't put that much time into Symmetra, but I can tell she's not a character that you can just pick up and be good at like Soldier and Ashe and Sojourn. She's just not. And I know this might be a hot take for some of y'all, but I do think she has some tech with her TP, with her turrets, and her wall. That's pretty techy. Like, her wall is very techy. You can drop the wall in a place where if you're playing with a Ramattra, they can get a lot of value from that wall. And if you're playing against something like a Bastion turret or a Mauga cage and you drop that wall, you can be pretty techy with her abilities, which I enjoy. So B tier, I feel like people can figure her out. It might take a couple of weeks, but I do think she has a pretty decently high skill ceiling. So B tier for Symmetra. Next up, we got Torbjorn. Man, I'm actually going to put him at B. I am. I know some people might think I'm crazy for this because Torbjorn doesn't have a lot. He has like 3 buttons. He has his turret. He has his overload thing where he goes crazy, gets some health and shoots faster. And he has his Q where he drops lava on the ground. But I've seen some Torbjorns put their turret in such like weird places, especially with the new perk where you can just chuck it and it sticks to walls. It's pretty crazy. I've seen some Torbjorns just carry games against teams where they don't have hit scans and they just can't shoot the turret. It's in like such a weird, obscure place. And I also believe that if you're playing Torbjorn and you know your pixel peaks on certain maps, you can absolutely destroy a lobby, bro. Like, that's tech for me personally. I think that's tech, which is why I'm going to put him at B tier. Next up, we got Tracer, S tier. I do think Tracer is S tier. I think Tracer is a character that you need to put a lot, and I mean a lot of hours into to actually master. And you see it all the time with like pro players who have like hundreds and hundreds of hours into Tracer, and you watch their gameplay and you are just like absolutely mind-boggled by how crazy they are, how they pressure backlines, how every single blink they do with Tracer has meaning to it. They don't just spam it in a certain direction. They like hit a blink, wait for a second, hit a blink in another direction. They're very techy with it. Her recall is also very techy. Her perks have also given her a decent amount more depth, where I feel like players are still figuring that out as well. And I don't think she's a character where someone can just pick her up and be absolutely insane at her. She does require a decent amount of aim skills as well. But other than that, I think she is a very high skill ceiling character, which is why she's S. Next up, we got Venture, A tier. 100%. Hell, she might even be S tier. I think Venture is crazy. A little bit of a hot take here. I think Venture is absolutely slept on nowadays. This character with her new perks can 1v1 a Winston, she can 1v1 a Reinhardt, and she can 1v1 a Diva sometimes if the Diva doesn't have Matrix. This character is like the new Reaper of Overwatch. I swear to God, she's crazy. She has the backline pressure of Tracer and Genji, but also has the frontline pressure of Reaper and Mei. That's how crazy she is. She's very tanky. She does a shit ton of damage. She has good sustain, and she has a fantastic ult. Her skill ceiling is extremely high if you know how to use her dig, if you know how to use her jumping fucking dash ability, and if you know how to use her ult alongside all of those abilities, right? Because now when you use your ult, you can go underground, come back, and you still have your ult. And she's also decently new to the game, where I feel like players are still not that used to her. And I think we're going to see a lot more Venture play, bro. I do believe that. I think when you're playing ranked nowadays, you're starting to see it. You're starting to see people figure out that Venture is kind of crazy. Next up, we got Widow, brain dead. I'm sorry. She is. She absolutely is. I hate this character. I feel like people are going to hate me for this, but I do not believe a hero in Overwatch should have the ability to carry an entire lobby, which is why I don't like Cassidy, Ashe, Soldier, or Sojourn, even though they might be fun to play when you're playing the DPS. I don't think Overwatch is a game where if you have good aim, you can win every single game and climb to GM. I don't like that. I don't appreciate that. You can call me jealous, right? Because I don't have good aim. I just don't. I migrated over from console a couple years back, and I had to start from ground zero, relearning how to aim in FPS games, okay? But I also believe that Overwatch has been built upon this idea that it's a team game, that it's a game where if you know how to manage your cooldowns and your ults, and if you communicate with your teammates, you can win every single single game. But with characters like Widow, Cassidy, Ashe, Soldier, and Sojourn, it feels like the player who has the best aim is always gonna win. It doesn't matter if they understand how characters interact with each other, where their positioning should be. It feels like if they have good aim, they're gonna win every single time and climb to GM. Next up, we got Ana. I would say Ana is B tier. I would say so. Knowing how to use her nade does take a decent amount of time, because you see a lot of people who just pick up Ana and start chucking that nade all the time. But every nade needs to have a meaning behind it, and every sleep dart needs to have a meaning behind it. You can't just throw your sleep dart at the enemy team's back line, just fucking snipe them, and you sleep someone and that's it. Like, you just wasted a whole ass cooldown, and now you're getting dived by a Tracer or a Reaper, and you don't have that sleep. So I do think she has a lot of depth to her. I think that her nano is also a very interesting ability. And now with her major perk, her nano can also give nano boost to Ana as well, which is kind of techy. So you can use it to keep yourself alive and your tank or your DPS alive as well, which is, it adds more depth to the character, right? I do think she has a decent amount of depth. She's not as brain dead as these characters in C tier, which is why I'm going to leave her at B. Next up, we got Baptiste, A. Yep, A tier, 100%. I think Baptiste, with the new perks especially, has so much depth. Baptiste is a character where you need to know how to balance your damage and your healing, and you need to have good positioning. He has those jumping jetpack fucking boots, okay, that are absolutely crazy. He has a major perk where he can even dash after jumping into the air. He just has a lot of depth. If you're playing Baptiste, you have so much stuff going on in your head that you need to manage. And you also need to know that you do a lot of damage as a support player. So having that on your mind all the time adds a lot more depth to the character. And I think he's very hard to play. You can't just heal bot on Baptiste because you're missing out on so much damage that can really help your team. And you can't just damage, even though he does a shit ton of damage, right? Because he also has AoE healing and a shit ton of healing. His lamp is also very techy if you know how to use it. When to use it, can absolutely turn around every single team fight. His window, very techy as well. You can use it selfishly on yourself and just kill the whole enemy team, or you can put it in front of your bastion and melt the enemy team that way. When I see a good Baptiste, I can feel it, bro. And that's why some of these characters are in higher ranks than others. It's like you see a good Baptiste and you understand that the player is actually good at the character. When you see a good Winston, you know the player put a lot of hours into Winston to master him. Whereas when you see a good Ashe, you're like, oh, he just has good aim. That's the difference in this tier list between all the tiers. Next up, we got Brig. I think B tier is a very decent area for Brig. I think Brig is probably one of the most difficult supports to get into when you first start playing her. Because a lot of people look at Brig and they're like, what the fuck? I'm not healing the team enough. You just don't feel like you're healing the team because you only think that you're healing your team through your health packs. But that's not true. Brig is healing her team constantly if she has Inspire up. And the way you proc Inspire is by doing damage to the enemy team. So you whip shot them or you hit them, and now you procced Inspire, which has an insanely wide range and is healing the team constantly without you even feeling it. So when you're on Brig and you don't feel like you're healing your team, just click tab. Just click tab and you see that you're actually healing your team quite a bit. And I feel like a lot of people get into Brig, they try her out for like an hour and they're like, what the fuck? I'm not healing my team. My team is critical right there and I ran out of health packs. What am I supposed to do? This character is ass. But that's not what the character is about. The character is about protecting the backline from divers and constantly healing your team passively. And her ult is also very techy because when you bash, you actually stun the enemy. So if you are coordinating with your team, like if you anti someone as you bash them or you put a discord on them, you can just absolutely shred them. So the character does have a decent amount of depth. Next up, we got Illari. C tier. I think C tier is very fair for Illari. I think if you're just dropping your healing pylon on cooldown and healing your team that way, you're doing good. Her shift is very average. There's not a lot of depth to it. You just turn around and just fucking knock away the enemies around you. That's about it. Her ult does have a decent amount of tech to it if you have good aim, right? So the character is very dependent on your aim. She can do decent poke damage if you have good aim again, which is why I'm going to keep her at C tier. I do not believe this tier list is about which character can excel if you have good aim. We're talking about depth of the hero itself, like the abilities. Next up, we got Juno. I think Juno's B tier. I do believe so. I think Juno is a very easy character to get into. There is a decent amount of depth to her as well, which makes her very fun. Like knowing when to use your shift to fly away. You can fly off the map and just disengage from the whole enemy team while still healing your own team. Knowing when to use your right click, your little torpedoes is also very interesting. Has some depth where, you know, you shouldn't really use it unless you run out of ammo to get that extra little bit of healing. Her ult does have a decent amount of tech where you can use it to engage and disengage as well if you aim it correctly. Her speed ring has a decent amount of depth to it again if you're coordinating with your teammates. All I'm saying is that this character can get better as time goes on and people start figuring more stuff about the character, right? So B tier is fair for Juno. Next up, we got Kiriko. Kiriko is C tier. Oh, people are gonna hate me for this one. Kiriko is C tier, dude. I don't care what you say. She is C tier, very close to brain dead. If you know how to click your left click button, you're already doing good on Kiriko. If you know that clicking left click on your mouse is gonna heal your team, you're already decent at Kiriko. The only depth to this character is clicking your E when another team ults. Like if a JQ ults your team and you click E, that doesn't mean the character has depth, bro. That just means the character is overpowered and it's just compensating for your incompetence. It does sound like I hate Kiriko, and I kind of do, even though she's kind of fun to play, but she doesn't have that much depth. She's just a safe pick, in my opinion. She can work in any team on existence, which should tell you something about the damn character's depth. Like, if a hero works on every single team, that means the character has no depth. That means the character is not special. Like Winston is not going to work as a poking tank, whereas Kiriko is going to work on poke, dive, and brawl. She works on every single team. You're never going to be mad when you see a Kiriko on your team. That's just never going to happen. Next up, we got Weaver. Man, oh man. You know what? I do think Weaver has more depth than Kiriko. I do. Obviously, he's not better. This tier list is not about who's better. Again, it's just about which character has more tech and is more difficult to play. I think Weaver has more depth than Kiriko. I genuinely believe that. Weaver is a character where if you pull someone that didn't want to be pulled, they will flame the fuck out of you. Okay? If you Suzu someone that didn't have to be Suzu'd, they're not going to be that mad at you. Okay? That's the difference between Kiriko and Weaver, which is why with Weaver, you need to put in a lot of hours into him to know when to pull your teammates out, to know when to use your pedal, to know when to use your tree. He has a lot of depth, or at least a lot more than a character like Kiriko, which is why I'm going to leave him at B tier. Next up, we got Lucio, obvious S tier, bro. Come on. Come on, we've all seen Frogger and SK and Aspen just go absolutely ham on Lucio. We know this character has an infinitely high skill ceiling, okay? I am still surprised to this day by some of the shit Frogger pulls off in like GM lobbies. It's absolutely crazy. Not everyone can play Lucio. If you want to get into Lucio, you have to put in the time and the hours to actually get good at Lucio, which I truly appreciate. I like those kinds of heroes, which is why he's gonna be at S tier. Next up, we got Mercy, brain dead. Nothing much to say here. All you have to do on Mercy is know when to click right click and left click on your mouse. That's about it. Don't res your teammates when they don't have to be resed. That's about it. That's really about it. Character has no depth. Absolute brain dead character. I am sorry to all of the Mercy players out there, okay? She does have some interesting movement. She does, okay? If you're good at her with your movement, you know what, dude? You do you, okay? I can see that and I can appreciate it. At the same time, if I see a Mercy one trick in Masters, I'm not that impressed. However, if I see a Baptiste in Masters or GM, I am impressed. That's just the difference, okay? She just doesn't have that depth to her. And I'm sorry, it's just the truth. Speaking of brain dead characters, we got Moira. Zero depth. Absolutely zero depth, dude. I mean, what can I say about Moira, dude? She is a stat padding fuck, dude. She is the Russell Westbrook of Overwatch. Like, all she does is stat pad the whole entire game just to make you feel like you had an impact, and you probably did. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm never gonna be mad if I see a Moira on my team. Never, okay? That's just not me. But I just don't think she's a difficult character to play. I think anyone can pick up Moira and be good at her. All you need to do is figure out a balance between damaging and healing, which is not that difficult to do because she does a shit ton of damage and a shit ton of healing. That's just the peak of this character. I don't know. I just don't see anyone getting absolutely insane at Moira. I'm never going to be impressed by a Moira player. I'm sorry. Zenyatta. B tier. B tier. I see some Zenyatta's cooking. I do. Knowing when to put a Discord on someone nowadays is very important, because if you put a Discord on, let's say, a Ramatra, and that Discord fades away, you're going to have to wait a certain amount of time before you can Discord him again. So there is a bit more of a thought process to when to Discord an enemy. Also, you're pretty large as a character. You have a pretty large hitbox, so you need to play corners. Also, some more depth there. The perks give him the ability to fly, which just added a whole new realm to Zenyatta players. You just see Zenyatta players floating in the air, just waiting to drop on you and drop kick you in the face, which is kind of insane. I can get pretty impressed by Zenyatta players, is all I'm saying. So I do think he has some depth. Next up, we got Freya. Jesus Christ. I hate this character so much, and I don't want to give her credit, bro. I really don't want to give this character any credit or compliments, but I'm gonna put her in A tier. I think the character has a lot of depth. She does have a certain amount of depth to her. When she's flying, she can dash around. She can stay in the air for a certain amount of time if you know your combos. Her right clicks are crazy. Her ult is very good as well. She has a lot of depth, and I've seen some crazy ass Freyas on some teams, and I appreciate it, although I hate it. I think this character is overpowered. I do, but I can appreciate a good Freya when I see her. She's not that easy. And yeah, that's about it. Take a look at the list here. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I don't know if I did a good job or not. I feel like this could cause some issues if people don't understand my thoughts on hit scan characters and my thoughts on characters that require a lot of aiming. So hopefully people watched the video and just didn't skip to the end and see like Widow and Brain Dead, and they're just gonna absolutely flame me. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Leave a like, leave a sub if you guys really want to. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.